of our economy. It is a major pillar of our economy. I mean, there is literally the son of an OnlyFans model admits he films his mother's porn. A son of an OF model just came out and says, I film mommy's porn. It's a part of our economy now. Okay? Right here. Son of OnlyFans model admits he films content for her. This is a part of the economy. While most teenage sons can't be bothered unloading the dishwasher for their mothers, this one goes above and beyond. Andressa Urak is a successful OnlyFans content creator and boasts over 3 million followers on Instagram. The former Miss Bum Bum model hails from Brazil. Do you see what I mean about the whores under every rock? There's a whore in here. There's a whore in the cup. We put the bear in. The former Miss Bum Bum. I mean, it's like, what is this country full of Jacqueline Kennedys and Virgin Marys? You can't get beat. The former Miss Bum Bum model hails from Brazil. Prior to her OnlyFans career, she was a successful dancer. Probably not in the Nutcracker. While many creators might hire someone to film their content, Andressa decided to keep the business within the family, and her son shoots things for her. During an Instagram Q&A last summer, her son Arthur, who was 18 at the time, was asked, Arthur, are you the one who films your mother's OnlyFans? He replied, yep, I'm really badass with the pictures, right? For many people, the idea of shooting such content for our parents would be, well, unimaginable. But Arthur appeared unfazed. But while he doesn't seem to be bothered, others were, religious groups in particular. Yeah. So, I mean, this is what we got going on. We got kids shooting OnlyFans content for their mother, Miss Bum Bum. And supposedly, there's not enough Miss Bum Bums to go over to the house. It's like R. Kelly, pee on an adult, pee on an adult, pee on a consenting adult. It still probably gets you off, maybe not as much. Pee on a, can that be the moral message of America? Can we just settle on that? I don't want to be Cotton Mather, the old Protestant preacher. I'm not trying to be a crazy lunatic here. I'm not trying, but if we're constantly in the throes of, we're hearing all the time about this Christian revival we're having, can we just settle on this very nice moral message? Pee on a consenting adult. Can we do that? Can we do that? It confuses me. It confuses me. It confuses me that all of these people that get busted for these things, but it's not about sex, they say. Tim, it's about power. It's about power. It's not about sex. It's not about people just coming. It's about power. It's about threats and locking people up and taking away their freedom and, you know, making sure. It's about control, right? This is what it is. 3 other women have filed lawsuits in the Southern District of New York alleging that Combs sexually assaulted them. 2 said they were teenagers at the time. Combs has denied each of these allegations, calling them sickening. So listen to this. A former employee who worked for Combs also filed a lawsuit in February alleging that Combs sexually harassed, drugged, and threatened him for more than a year. In his suit, Rodney Low Rod Jones, producer, also alleged that he had video and audio evidence of Combs, his staff members, and others engaging in serious illicit activity. They're taking him down. He's going down. P. Diddy. Sad. Part of my childhood. Part of my childhood. I saw Taylor Swift the other day at Nobu. This is true. I walked in. I had a couple of guys that opened for me on the road. And one of them, I said, some celebrities go here sometimes at Nobu, Malibu. And one of them was real, you know, kind of like, but this is like a guy who's from like North Dakota or something. You know what I mean? It's a place where people grow up eating Pop-Tarts and stuff. And so he doesn't know what sushi is or, you know, he doesn't understand anything. So we take him in and he goes, Oh, yeah, celebrities here. You know who ends up showing up? Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Robert De Niro. I was like, these are some of the biggest celebrities in the world. Taylor Swift is the biggest celebrity in the world. She gets on a table. I swear to God, she stands up on a table in Nubu Malibu, and I'm not lying to you, and I don't want people, because she literally said, this is between us. She made everyone put their phones down. She gets on a table. Do you want to hear what she does? She starts Heiling Hitler on a table, going, I love Hitler. And see, this is what I mean. This is why she's going, I love Hitler. And then everyone in the restaurant, people are going, we love him too. Because no one can tell this woman otherwise. She is so powerful. She is so rich that nobody can tell her anything other than that. She did it as a gag. She did it as a goof to just get up there and say, I love Hitler. And then everyone starts Heiling Hitler as well. The Japanese guys doing the sushi, these chubby little girls who are taking photos, trying to get they're all doing it. Everybody's Heiling Hitler. You know, and I just think I don't think someone should have all that power. That's my question. Does Taylor Swift have too much power? I think so. Lego asked social police department to stop using toy heads on mugshots. Lego doesn't like this. What's happening is the Murrieta Police Department hides the identities of suspects by editing Lego heads onto their faces in accordance with a new law. Show us.
Yeah, this is one. Here's another example of what they've done.
Yeah, so I guess this is because people, they don't want to show you who the people are.
Yeah, they protect them for anonymity. Yeah.
Isn't there a company that wouldn't mind it? There's got to be a company that wants the press. It's not because Lego's doing well. You need to find a company that needs a fucking boost. Put a Quiznos sub over their faces. They'll love it. Quiznos has been destroyed. They have like nothing left. You got to find a company that's, see, here, this is, see, Lego's not going to, because now people are getting the image that the Lego people are just criminals. They're looking at, people are like, oh, these Lego people are people that drive drunk. And they don't want this. But you got to find a company that doesn't mind. You got to find a company to see, try a peanut butter cup head. Try something else. Try something where people don't mind. A little Monster Energy can. There's got to be a company that doesn't mind. Lego is too big. Lego is way too big. They don't need the free advertising. This is a free advertising, essentially. But there are companies that don't care. What about Dillon Mulvaney from Bud Light? Remember that fiasco? Make Dillon Mulvaney, give everyone a Dillon Mulvaney head. I don't know. I don't know what to do here except find a company that needs the press. Find someone who needs the press. Find a fucking creator that one of these LA creators that doesn't care and they've had their soul surgically removed and all they care about is getting more followers and likes and engagement. Hey, I like David Dobrik. Use David Dobrik's head on every criminal. The Murrieta Police Department put David Dobrik. His career has kind of slid a little, and it's really not even his fault, because of that other thing that the other guy did. Use David Dobrik's head so people will go, who's that? And you go, oh, it's David Dobrik. That starts a fun conversation. You go, wait, well, who is that guy? He's big on the internet. He was even bigger, but his friend did a thing, and he kind of took the heat for it. You got to use somebody. We should do that. By the way, we should just reserve it for whoever got busted for sex trafficking last. Like it should be Diddy's head on all the criminals. And before that, it was Weinstein's head. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's number one fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's number one fantasy sports app. I've said that now twice, but it's true. So you say true things a lot. Want to play alongside some form of Prize Picks favorite players like Meek Mill and Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in Prize Picks community each week. Conference tournaments are here, which means the biggest moments in college basketball are getting closer. Be a part of the action on Prize Picks for both men's and women's college basketball. Prize Picks even offers injury assurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, the player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entry stays live. It's amazing. It's amazing. I've used this. My family has used it, and my friends use it. Download the app today and use code TIM for a first deposit match of up to $100. Download the app today and use code TIM for a first deposit match up to $100. So many people are so stressed out buying tickets, and I agree with, that assessment because I've been stressed out myself. I just download the Game Time app, and I've been using it, and it's made ticket buying so much easier. I mean, pick out specific concerts, games, or other events that you'd love to attend. I love it. It's so easy. Last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events anywhere near you. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices. You can get all the views from your seat. You know exactly what you're going to be looking at, and the lowest price guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code TIM for 20% off your first purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code TIM for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code TIM for $20 off. But yeah, I mean, whoever we're shaming in the country, and maybe for good reason, but whoever has run afoul of the machine, instead of a Lego head, we use their head on the criminals. I think that makes that makes sense. Drag show for Palestine canceled in Arizona. I find myself again, against all odds, talking about Arizona. I try not to, and yet it comes for me. There was apparently a drag show for Palestine that was planned in Arizona, and it was canceled. The drag queen Daddy Satan has said that this incident inspired them to plan an even larger event. Listen to me right now, folks. If a drag queen in Arizona named Daddy Satan cannot have a drag show to support solidarity with the Palestinians, what are we even doing? What did we fight World War II for? Everybody, you ever see the movie Saving Private Ryan when they were storming the beaches of Normandy? You know why they were doing it? Someone should have told them. Someone should have whispered in their ear. Do you know why you guys are doing this? Because one day there'll be a drag queen named Daddy Satan who lives in Arizona, and they will want to do a Solidarity with Palestine march. We're all very bummed about it, but appreciate the outpouring of love and support from the community, said Daddy Satan. So many people put a lot of work into this. By the way, Daddy Satan, I have to call you out a little bit there. Wait a minute. Hold on. How many people, Daddy Satan, I think you're overstating it a little bit. He goes, so many people put a lot of work into this, and it just goes to show how much support is behind Palestine. I've always said that it was a failing, Israel's whole contention here. When this whole thing started, they were like, you can't even be gay in Palestine. Okay. But you can't really be anything in Palestine, right? It's not like a nice place to live. So Israel's like, you can't be gay in Palestine. So what we have to do to help the gay Palestinians is kind of kill all of them. And so, which was an interesting, logical jump, but I get it. I understand that because it's better, I guess, if you can't be gay in Palestine, why even be alive? So now they really can't be gay. They might have been quietly gay. Now they're just quiet. Now, the point is here, and I'm not taking sides in the whole thing. I do feel it. The UN's now called for a ceasefire. I've had quite enough of all of it. The drag queen clarified on Saturday that the event was canceled because the other drag queens in the venue were facing bullying and getting caught in the crossfires of hate. That's just a great name for everything. The crossfires of hate. Daddy Satan's new book, The Crossfires of Hate. Daddy Satan, I'm calling it right now, will be a congressman soon or congresswoman. And Daddy Satan will write a book called The Crossfires of Hate. Let's take a look at Daddy Satan. Does Daddy Satan have is fun?
Looking right here. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Daddy Satan. Yeah, that's right.
Look at the names here.
So all of these people were supposed to do this event, and it was Christian Caliente, Jake in the Box, Marlene Marvelous, Piss Understood. I like Piss Understood. Alexander Strike, and Deshauna Rose. And this was going to be at the Palabras Bilingual Bookstore, 906 West Roosevelt Street, Phoenix, Arizona. And it was hosted by the great Daddy Satan, the drag queen for Palestine. What's fun about all of this stuff is, community really is where you find it. It's just where you find it, folks. We have this whole thing in America now where we're talking about loneliness, and this is what I wanted to address this and talk about this, because the ruling class every now and then likes to they really like to take the spotlight off themselves. God bless them. They like to kind of step out of the spotlight every now and then, the ruling class. God love them. And what they're doing now, if you've noticed this, this new thing is being pushed. I'm telling you, and you're gonna understand it immediately. The new billionaire thing, because for a while they tried. Now, if you remember, we always look at Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal and Insider, all these where they push this kind of like junk science. They see it's like an open mic for billion. They try to see what sticks. They throw things out. They're like, you don't need a kitchen. Remember that article? They're like, people don't need kitchen. They don't need dining rooms. Americans are happy with smaller houses. And then they do the whole thing where it's like, nobody really wants to retire. People like working till they die. The new thing now that they're workshopping this. They're doing this. This is USA Today, another offender. Americans are lonely and it's killing them. How the U.S. can combat this new epidemic. So the ruling class now is pushing this narrative. You're dying because you're lonely. It's not the food. It's not the shitty health care. It's not the jobs. It's not the unaffordability of everything. It's because you're sad. You're having friends. That's what the billionaire class is now pushing. They're pushing this idea that the biggest epidemic in America is not opioids. It's loneliness. That's what's killing everybody. It's because they're lonely. We've done the studies. We've figured it out. Nothing more to see here. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. It is loneliness. You don't have any friends. You have friends, and they'll hang out with you. So what they're trying to do, and it's all quite brilliant, by the way, It is spread like wildfire. All of these articles. Loneliness is the plague. It is the plague. People are lonely. Loneliness only gets worse. These are the articles too. Loneliness only gets worse as you age. Ignore loneliness. Listen, we all know friends are great. Communities are great. Social engagements are wonderful. We know that technology has made the world more lonely and more isolating, okay? But whenever I see a coordinated attempt to push a narrative, I always have to question why, okay? So let's just here, go back to that next page. Loneliness is at epidemic levels, okay? Health and Human Services are epidemic of loneliness. NPR, America has a loneliness epidemic. All of these places are saying you are lonely and that is your issue. That is why you are miserable. Now, we've said on the show many, many times that the decline of social activities is a thing. The great book, Bowling Alone, which I've referenced several times, they're not necessarily all wrong here. But to say that it's the only issue and it's the only prevalent concern in people's lives is that they are lonely and that is what is killing them, it takes a lot of pressure off any of these companies that don't have to change anything they're doing. You know what makes you less lonely? Affording a home in a community of other people. That might make you less lonely. Yeah. But they don't really address that. They don't say the lack of affordability is killing America. They don't say that. They say it's loneliness. They don't say drugs coming in from the southern border like fentanyl are killing me. They go, it's lonely. You're alone. You're alone and you're dying. So what are you supposed to even do? By the way, what are you supposed to do? What would you do? What would be the response to that? If you are lonely, make a friend. Also, read a book. You could work on yourself. You could learn things. There are a lot of things you can do when you're alone that can significantly and substantially better your life. And there's a lot of groups of people that are groups of losers that will only destroy your life. The people that write these articles would rather you in one of those, by the way. It's loneliness. That's the biggest problem. You think if you went through the projects and you talk to people and you go, what do you think the big issues are here? You think you get loneliness? I'm asking. You go, what do you think the big issues are? In fact, in many of the areas where you have lots of problems in America, people seem to be hanging out quite often. You know? Diddy wasn't lonely. He had lots of people around. Is loneliness the reason for Sean P. Diddy Combs' problems? Was it all loneliness? When you are lonely, there are lots of things you can do. You can work on your mental, physical health. You can get degrees. You can read books. I'm not saying that you can't. You should make friends. You should participate in the community. You should be trying to maybe get into a relationship if that's something that you want. But this idea that we can offload all of the problems in America on simply loneliness, that's it. And there's nothing else to blame. There's nobody else to blame, and we can't do anything other than tell you that you're lonely. People that are lonely know that they're lonely. How about making fucking shit cheaper? Schools cheaper. They can meet people in school they can't afford to go. You could do that, make school cheaper, and then lonely people could go to school and fucking take an archaeology class or something. I don't know. That might help. You might meet somebody fun in the archaeology class. You know? 1 in 3 Americans feels lonely. Let's read this one. Psychiatry.org. 1 in 3 Americans feels lonely every week. So this is another thing, by the way. This is the way. Here's what we're going to do. Can I call it? Can I call it right now? Can I call it right now? We're creating a new disease to which will be medicated. I'm telling you right now, heed what I am saying. This is like when they try to claim everyone's autistic now. It's not true. Everyone's not autistic. Some people are, but not every. I hear all that I go out to dinner with people, and they go, well, everyone is autistic now. It's the toxins in the wood. It's the toxins in the wood. There's actually chemicals in the chair, and now everybody's autistic, and no one can even blink. You go, is that it? I don't think so. There are autistic people, but they're not all over the place. They're not falling out of the cupboard. They're just, people make it sound like when you walk through, I don't know, a department store, you're just tripping over people that are severely autistic. That's not true. Yes, there is more autism now, but not everyone. Unless they're expanding the autism definition to include literally anyone. Literally anyone. If you take more than a second to order a meal and you're looking at a restaurant menu, that's now considered autism. What I'm saying is loneliness is coming as a treatable malady. I'm telling you, this is why they do this stuff. Because what they're saying to people is, this is killing you. Notice the words. You are being killed by loneliness. They're not telling you, hey, loneliness is part of the human condition. Everybody in their life is going to occasionally feel loneliness at some times or others. Some people are going to be more lonely than others. Some people have lots of friends around them and they're still lonely. What they are saying is that loneliness is this epidemic that is killing you. And if something is an epidemic that is killing you, cha-ching, cha-ching, here comes Pfizer, here comes Merck, here comes Novartis, here comes all of these different companies. They're going to queue up a drug that I guess makes you feel not lonely when you're alone. It'll be some drug, and it'll be called, Frenzum. Frenzum. Have you tried Frenzum? Well, Frenzum actually simulates the kind of feelings that you have when you're having exchanges with people, although you can be alone in your townhouse. Try Frenzum. I'm telling you, I should use it because I've talked about this issue on the show before, and I don't disagree that the erosion of America's social fabric has contributed to a lot of problems. I would be stupid to disagree with that, okay? I don't think that people writing these articles really care about that. I think they're trying to make loneliness into a disease that can be medicated. This is my guess. I could be wrong. When Americans feel lonely, they reported easing these feelings through many different means. And by the way, they will start linking this to, look, 50% find a distraction like TV, podcasts, or social media. So the next thing here, you're listening to podcasts because you're lonely. That's why you're lonely. And some of that, sure, but it's going to be like, well, they embrace these conspiracy theories because they're lonely. They question the government because they're lonely. And you're going to go, oh, wait a minute. So if I question anything at all, it's because you're lonely. You don't have any friends. Why are we giving all this money to the Ukraine? You don't have any friends. I don't understand why 8-year-olds should medically change their gender. You're a lonely fuck. That's why you spend all day thinking about this. You don't have any friends. Oh, I guess so. You need to go to a therapist and you need to get on our new drug now. It's all about figuring out ways to stigmatize and marginalize anyone that questions anything, by the way. Anyone that questions anything is immediately stigmatized and marginalized in some way. And then we need to put everybody on a drug and everybody needs to subscribe to the program. And if you're not subscribed to the program, you're an antisocial person. We cut off the social media. We get you out of here. You're bothering us. Ask a question. But so this is what I mean about the whole lonely thing. It's coming on strong now, isn't it? The loneliness. It's every article is you're lonely. We have gotten everyone in this country on meds for depression, for anxiety. Everybody. Young people are taking so many SSRIs. Nobody's dick works anymore. Everybody's on ADD. Everybody's on meds for everything. Now we're just, including anything that might be, and I'm not saying that there are a lot of people that need medication and should take it. 1,000%. My mother was one of them. There are depressed people, people with anxiety, people that need medication. There are also people that are making themselves sick. Our culture makes them sick. Okay? Our food makes them sick. Our media diet makes them sick. The constant disorientation, this disorienting landscape that we all live in, where up is down and down is up and black is white and white is black, and questioning any of it, you're called a psychopath, makes people a little uneasy. There's all kinds of things, but this is very strange. Clearly, we believe technology can be used to connect with others. In some cases, however, it seems to be helping us reach people who become part of our inner circles. However, distracting yourself when you're feeling lonely with social media might be a double-edged sword. While it can connect, it can also lead to feelings of missing out. So very soon we are going to have some type of cure for this, and we're just going to put a lot of people on drugs. That's just, the pharmaceutical industry makes more money than any other business in America. I think it's number one. Pharmaceutical business is number one. And all of these articles right now do not seem to me to be a genuine concern for people. They seem to be the precursor to how do we cure loneliness. Jared Kushner says Gaza waterfront property might be very valuable. I called this. I said this a long time ago. And, he said it could be very valuable. Let's take a look here at Jared Kushner, who is weighing in on the real estate opportunities in Gaza, of which, by the way, I don't want to sound callous, but there will be many, many opportunities. Not for me, but for a lot of people that own real estate development firms and get these contracts to rebuild. This is Gaza. Jared Kushner. We'll listen to him for a little bit. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's hear what he has to say.
There's refugees. Turkey took them. Europe took them. Jordan took them. For whatever reason, here in Gaza, there's refugees from the fighting, from an offensive attack that was staged from Gaza. Israel's going in to do, a long-term deterrence mission. And it's unfortunate that nobody's taking the refugees.
But also there are real fears on the part of Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
No, he will at the Four Seasons.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. So, if you think about even the construct, Gaza was not really a historical precedent, right? It was the result of a war, right? You had tribes that were in different places, but then Gaza became a thing. Egypt, used to run it. And then, over time, you had different governments that came in different ways. So you have another war, usually when wars happen, borders are changed historically over time.
The new government's coming. It's called the St. Regis.
How do we deal with the terror threat that is there so that it cannot be a threat to Israel or to Egypt, right? I think that both sides are spending a fortune on military. I think neither side really wants to have, a terrorist organization enclaved right between them. In Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable.
That's right. The only terror you're going to experience is how early you have to get up to get a beach chair by the pool. Come on! You want to talk about terror? We had to wake up at 7. That's prime real estate by that pool. I called it. I said it years ago, months ago, weeks ago. I don't know. Time's a construct. But I said when this war started that there was going to be a lot of luxury properties, hotels in Gaza, and that I even I acted out how awkward it was going to be when you had a white couple there from Texas, and this is maybe 10 years or 20 years from now, and then you have like a young person, let's say he's like 19, and he delivers the Eggs Benedict to the room, and she's going to go, "Oh my God, are you like from the area?" And he's going to go, "Yes." And she's going to go, "Wow, does your family still live here?" And he's going to go, "No." And she's going to go, "Oh, interesting. Did they like retire?" "They were all killed in the war." "Oh, I'm so sorry. We had 2 juices, and I only see one. I'll have to go back on Scuffed Realtor, and me and Nick Rutherford might have to do an entire Gaza Strip real estate thing, because I mean it is quite beautiful. People have asked me to talk about the sociopath essay. I always knew I was different. I'm a sociopath essay, and this is about a woman who is coming into her own as a sociopath. And yeah, I mean, by the way, if you saw her, would you need the article? Would you need the article if you saw her? I always knew I was different. I just didn't know I was a sociopath. I kind of like this woman. I don't know anything about her. I like how she goes, I know I'm not alone. It's like, yeah, you're not alone. You're in great company. You know, by the way, you know what's probably a cure for being lonely? Being a sociopath. That might help. I started stealing before I could talk. At least I think I did. By the time I was 6 or 7, I had an entire box full of things I'd stolen in my closet. Somewhere in the archives of People magazine, there's a photo of Ringo Starr holding me as a toddler. We're standing in his backyard, not far from L.A., where my father was an executive of the music business. And I'm literally stealing the glasses off his face. I was not the first child to ever play with grown-ups' glasses, but based on the spectacles currently perched on my bookshelf, I'm pretty sure I was the only one to swipe a pair from a Beatle. And then she goes on, and I read this article, and she goes on, and she's basically like, hey, I don't feel, I don't have any emotions, and I cannot access emotions or empathy or things like that. I didn't understand any of this back then. All I knew was that I didn't feel things the way other kids did. I didn't feel guilt when I lied. I didn't feel compassion when classmates got hurt on the playground. For the most part, I felt nothing, and I didn't like the way that nothing felt. So I did things to replace the nothingness with something. By the way, she should be so successful. Is she very successful?
She's like a decently successful writer, I think. You know.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, if you possess the qualities of nothingness, no conscience, you're completely, devoid of any emotion. Do you know how successful you should be? Do you know how many people in America, just for whatever reason, it's hard to put one foot in front of the other because they are sentient beings with thoughts and feelings that are very difficult to master and get under control? After years of study, intensive therapy, and earning a PhD in psychology, I can say that sociopaths aren't bad or evil or crazy. We simply have a harder time with feelings. We act out to fill a void. When I understood this about myself, I was able to control it. It's a tragic misconception that all sociopaths are doomed to hopeless, loveless lives. The truth is, I share a personality type with millions of others. Well, that's comforting, isn't it? Many of whom have good jobs, close-knit families, and real friends. We're sociopaths. We represent a truth that's hard to believe. There's nothing inherently immoral about having limited access to emotion. I mean, this is like, she's trying to do like, she's like Braveheart, but she's a sociopath. Like, this is the thing she's trying to, she's like, I've been through it all. Her, by the way, she's obviously putting herself forward as like a victim of something. And she's trying to say that her not caring about anything is something that we should like feel bad for. It's that's an interesting one. She's like, I watch you people burn alive. I feel nothing. Do you know how hard that is? It's kind of a little bit like kind of what Israel was doing, where they're like, do you know how tough it is to fire this nuclear weapon at these Palestinians? You know how hard it is to bomb? This hurts me more than it hurts you. It's the old dad hitting you thing. I wish I didn't have to do that. You know how hard it is to light you on fire like that? It's a little interesting, this whole idea where she goes, I'm a sociopath. And the whole thing's about like how she's struggled with her identity. She's like, and at the end, she's like, I stand with millions of other people who don't give a fuck about anything. And they have jobs and they have families. And just like me, they don't care. They don't give a fuck. Because that's what it is. It's what sociopathy is. You don't care. And I'm not telling her to care. And I'm just saying, what do you want from me, lady? What do you want? What is this? Can someone, was this at the Journal or the Times? Who did this?
Wall Street.
What is this for? Like, does anyone in the Wall Street Journal editorial room go, hey guys, who is this for? Are we trying to make our sociopath readers feel more comfortable? She has a memoir coming out called Sociopath, a Memoir. Snore. It's going to be a snooze fest because she's not going to confess to, like, killing anyone. I'd rather read Daddy Satan's memoir. I'd rather Daddy Satan than this bitch. Anybody at the Wall Street Journal, by the way, does that person even exist anymore at the Wall Street Journal? Who goes, by the way, who is this for? Why are we doing that? Who benefits from this? Maybe we should run some articles about like these payday loan companies or which we may be advertising soon. Some of them are lovely. But maybe we should run some of these payday loans or these credit scams or like something like that, you know. Maybe we should write something about the deficit or how. No, there's a woman who wrote a novel called Sociopath, a Memoir. And we're going to run an excerpt from that because we want people to feel good about being sociopaths. I don't know. I mean, listen, I get it. If you can't feel, it sucks. Some people feel too much. I don't know, but I don't know what she wants from it. Do we need to take this journey with her? Do we need to take this journey? What are we supposed to? We're supposed to talk about this in a book. Well, I found it very interesting that she, through her entire life, just felt nothing. Did you read the chapter where she saw the car accident and she saw the body being taken out and she didn't feel anything? Isn't that fascinating, Pearl? Pearl, you know, I saw an accident and I could barely get to sleep for 3 nights. And I didn't know those people at all. But this woman saying that it didn't bother her one bit. I don't know what you're supposed to take from this. Should people act more like her? Is that the game? Should people act more like her? Should people be like, yeah, let me lean into that. Let me lean into that. Let me lean in, baby. I like that no one told her to stop being a sociopath. No one told her to try to get feelings at any point. They just said, just live in your truth. Live in your truth. I'm a sociopath and I'm comfortable. I'm finally comfortable admitting it and living. I live with myself. I live with myself and I'm quite happy. She's a sociopath. I mean, it's just such it's so boring. It's so boring. I assume most of you don't feel. Look at her. Ma'am, you are everybody I know in Santa Barbara. We get it. We get it. That's every mom up there who like cares about their kids-ish. Kinda. Sorta. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers with $20 billion recovered from over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is so easy. I'm telling you right now, if you are ever injured, check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. I know people that they were dead from these accidents and they came back to life because of how well Morgan & Morgan, how much money they got. The hand comes right out of the grave. Give it to me. Because Morgan & Morgan really cares. They really care, and they'll get you your paper. They'll do it. You just got to trust them. I'm telling you, if you get injured, you got to make it right. Have someone out there make it right. Morgan & Morgan. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Tim or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Tim or #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. I'm sick of the guy in Succession, this guy, Jeremy Strong, talk about that he doesn't know where he is or who he is or what he is. It's shut up. Stop interviewing these fucking actors. Shut them up. We wanted you as Kendall Roy. Stop this. Enough with this. We don't care about you anymore. The show is over. We will care about you if you would do another cool part. We don't care. This is nuts now. I don't want Sydney Sweeney's take on inflation. I don't want to hear about Jeremy Strong. Get them out of here. Get them back when they book another thing. Stop interviewing these people. Stop digging deep. Stop it now. These interviews should be very rare, incredibly rare. We don't care. The question, they go, this is one of his answers. He goes, the question is such a definitive question. I think of myself as a sieve. The thing that I most understand is creating sort of a negative space so that I can be a vessel for writing and create character through a pastiche of writing and imagination and whatever things activate me. Now, is that all kind of a camouflage? Is that his answer?
Yeah, his is the non-bold.
Yeah. He's insufferable. Everyone on Succession, I think, had enough with him. Still one of the greatest shows of all time, Succession. It's still one of the greatest. It's still one of the greatest shows of all time. We're so excited to be in the UK. By the time this airs, I will be on my way to the United Kingdom to sit with the royals, to show my support for all. I will be in Belfast, in the O2 Apollo in Manchester, the O2 Academy in Glasgow, the Royal Theatre in Amsterdam, Royal Albert Hall in London. I don't know, in Copenhagen, whatever that pronunciation is. The House of Culture in Helsinki, Finland, Circus in Stockholm, Sweden, 2 shows in Dublin, Vicar Street. Then I'm back in the USA, San Jose, Lemoore, California, Schenectady, New York, Port Chester, New York, and Atlantic City, New Jersey, late May. That's going to be a fun one. Capitol Theater, Port Chester, New York as well. Fun one, Ovation Hall at Oceans Casino Resort. timdilloncomedy.com for any of these tickets that you want to see, any and all tickets. We appreciate you being with us as always, and we will be in America in a few weeks if I don't get killed in Paris. Me and Sam Tallon are going to Paris, and they have the terrorist. What is it again? The terror warning level, the threat level in Paris has been raised to the highest that it has been in a very long time. France raises terror alert warning to highest level. Me and Sam Tallon are just going to be eating baguettes. And by the way, how hilarious if me and Sam Tallon end up taking over the country somehow in like a very Woody Allen Bananas, kind of almost like a King Ralph way, where me and Sam Tallon are just kind of running France. These 2 chubby American guys now run France because we were the only ones that were able to defeat the terrorists. Don't attack France when I'm there, scum, please. I've not been to Paris in a very long time. I would love to buy a chateau in the South. Don't think me and I told Sam, I said, we are going to the South and we're going to look at a few chateaus. I could get into a chateau. I, of course, would have to start drinking again and learn the language and stop this crap. But we could do all of it, couldn't we? Shouldn't we? Well, thank you. We hope that we've cured your loneliness for an hour here. We hope we've cured your loneliness for an hour. It's not easy. And to Sean Diddy Combs, a man who would have benefited from loneliness, ironically, imagine that. Many of the people that are going to jail in this country should have been lonelier. But I've always been a fan of P. Diddy. I've always been a fan of the music. You know, and we hope he has a third act, don't we? Don't we hope he has a third act? Just donate some money. Just donate some. If he was smart, he would donate some money. Just donate some money, P. Diddy. Donate some money. You know, now is the time for P. Diddy to financially back Daddy Satan's drag brunch for Palestine in Arizona. The thing with a guy like P. Diddy is he is talented, even though he's a psychopathic, rapist monster. He is talented. He can pick out talent and all that stuff. Do we not want to see P. Diddy maybe knocked down, but could he build himself back up, going to Arizona, picking out which drag performers are good, you know? picking out piss understood, being like, yeah, I really like the way piss understood moves. But Daddy Satan Daddy Satan owns the stage. This is the punishment for P. Diddy. P. Diddy has to go down and judge Daddy Satan's drag for Palestine. It's a half hour and it's an hour and a half show. P. Diddy has to go down there and judge it. It's filmed. And then he has to donate some money to a cause. And then we put him back. But we knock him down real estate-wise. You can't live on Star Island anymore. We knock him down a little bit. We knock him down. He doesn't have to live in Opalaka, but we knock him down, you know? You get a condo. You get a nice condo. No more mansions. You can't handle it. No private islands, no mansions. And you're flying commercial. First, this is what I would do if I was a judge. I go, you're flying commercial first. And he's like, oh, God, because I know how bad these things are. You fly commercials. First class, you can still do first class. And you're not living in the mansion anymore. You're living in a condo. There's going to be a condo board, and you can't have loud music. He's going to be pissed. And you're judging Daddy Satan's drag brunch for Palestine in Arizona. He's going to be like, God damn it. But that's it. That's your punishment. None of this jail. You can't throw rich people in jail. It's not fair. Except the renters. It's an inside joke. All right. Good night, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Thank you to everybody who is sharing the trailer for the Netflix show. This is Your Country, the reimagining of a 90s trash TV show with yours truly as the host. We really appreciate it. The trailer's had a great response, and people are excited about it. It comes out October 1st. Our friend of the show, P. Diddy, incarcerated, in jail, in Brooklyn. I mean, what is going on here? What is going on? Diddy is locked. A girl I went to school with was, I think, very close with him and then scrubbed her whole IG in the last couple of days. Just fun. Not saying who it is. I'm no rat, but I'm just saying it's fun. Other people from school called me. They were like, that's kind of fun, huh? And I go, it's a little fun. It's a little fun. It's worth noting. And then she went on a whole thing about Haiti. Diddy is accused of holding freak-offs with male prostitutes. According to court documents, Sean Diddy Combs' freak-offs were arranged by high-ranking supervisors, security, household workers, and assistants. So he apparently forced people to do sexual acts, perform sex acts. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube were found during the raids, which were allegedly used during the freak-offs. Combs would force women to partake and would make embarrassing recordings, which he used as blackmail to keep victims quiet. Combs' team would schedule IV delivery after the days-long freak-off so the victims could recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Well, that's nice. Combs would even track women's locations and keep track of their medical records. The video was filmed in Central Park just hours before the rapper was arrested. So he was in Central Park. And what was he doing? Just having fun?
He was just taking it in.
He was just having fun in Central Park. The last day of freedom. Wow. They're going to kill him, I think. No, they are. They're clearly going to kill him. Guards are getting ready to fall asleep as we speak because there's no way that he can go out and say all of the things he knows and talk about all of the people who went to the freak-offs. That is my guess. My guess is that they're going to take him out. It's not only my guess. There are a lot of people that are thinking that. He's like the Black Epstein. They got to get rid of him. He's going to come out and he's going to say, hey, everybody from political figures to big music people to pastors, megachurch people. Like, I don't think that can go down. I think what's going to happen is he's going to feel very depressed. That's my guess is that P. Diddy's going to feel very depressed and he's going to be sad and he's not going to want to go on anymore. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it seems like an unnecessary risk for all of these people to just allow him to dime on all of them to try to get a lesser sentence, which he will most likely do. Or his cell phone's going to explode. That's the other possibility. For P. Diddy, he may. I'm surprised something didn't explode, or I'm surprised a dildo didn't explode a week ago and take out P. Diddy. An exploding dildo to get rid of P. Diddy. We are now it's fully the Marx Brothers now. We have exploding Israel's got panini presses blowing up to try to kill Hezbollah. We have a Caddyshack assassination attempt where the barrel of a gun is sticking out of the bushes on a Palm Beach golf course like a scene from Abbott and Costello. This is a Marx Brothers. What is the next way they're going to kill Trump, with like an exploding cake? It's getting to be like a Laurel and Hardy 1920s Three Stooges slapstick country. World. Pagers are blowing up all over Lebanon. Cell phones, pagers, tablets. Israel apparently hacking all these devices or planting bombs or what. I don't really know I love how America's just really not commenting. They're like, well, we don't really know. We got to collect some more information on this. It's the old exploding pager trick. Can we show any of these? We discussed this a few days ago. If we can show any of these. Here's a man shopping.
Yeah, we can show it. We'll just blur the.
Here's a man shopping, and then all of a sudden his pager explodes.
It's really not that bad from the top.
Well, here's the deal. Israel certainly has the element of surprise. However, they just will not calm down. Israel will not stop. They are wiling out. They will not stop. And the Middle East is like a tinderbox. And Sheikh Nasrallah, the head of the Lebanese, I believe, I'm forgetting, Hezbollah, is saying this is a declaration of war and they're going to go after Israel. You know, I mean, I didn't even know Israel could do that. I didn't even know this was possible to be done. I didn't even know people still used pagers. I didn't even know that pagers could explode. I didn't even know that. I mean, a real supply chain issue here. I mean, I didn't even know that any of this could happen, that you could be that Etch-a-Sketches could blow up. I mean, I didn't know that this could go down. But, you know, this is a Black Mirror episode. Every day is a new, strange episode where it's hard to fully, I guess, Israel has a very secretive cybersecurity division. I believe it's called 8200 or something. And Israel's very good at the hacking and whatever. They have a cybersecurity unit, right? Unit, and I forget what it is, but it's a unit of people that do this type of thing. This is what they do. And I don't know exactly what it's called. What are you going to Israel.gov? Go somewhere else.
Yeah, okay. Unit 8.
Unit, that might be a bit skewed. Unit 8200 is an Israeli intelligence corps unit of the Israeli Defense, the IDF, responsible for clandestine operation. The unit is composed primarily of 18 to 21-year-old hackers and nerds and fun people that are, I guess, really good at the type of operation that you just witnessed. And don't get it twisted. They will get P. Diddy with the exploding dildo, and he will not face trial. There's no way he goes to trial if they can do this. If they can do that, you almost wonder, and I mean, again, I don't want to be a start with this here. It's like, how did Hamas pull this off? If they're so good, like if this intelligence unit is so amazing, and I know that like Netanyahu doesn't really want any investigation into the intelligence failures of October 7th, but they're so good at certain things, and I guess other things are just not as great at. Small amounts of explosives were implanted in beepers that Hezbollah had ordered from a Taiwanese company, according to American and other officials briefed on the operation. I mean, yeah, here we go. See it again. There it is. By the way, can we just comment on the produce? Looks nice. Can we just comment on the produce selection there? It does look nice. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the war is ending, right? This isn't what happens before war ends. You don't hack everybody's smartphone and beeper and start blowing everything up, right? They're going to blow up my sunglasses soon. Lebanese health ministry, at least 9 dead, 300 injured in walkie-talkie explosions. Play a little bit of this.
At least 9 people are dead. Hundreds have been wounded, and that's according to the Lebanese health ministry. That blast,
it was like during a parade,
in Beirut, set off panic in the streets, as you can see here. That was amid a crowd attending a funeral for Hezbollah fighters. Early reports indicate the explosions took place in southern Lebanon.
By the way, my grandmother sadly passed away. My last grandparent is gone, and I'm going to a funeral, and I'm wondering if there's going to be exploding devices. I imagine not, but who knows? Not everyone in my family loves me. They're not all thrilled with me, let's be honest. Ryan Routh, who is... what is going on with this guy, Ryan Routh? Now, you've not been able to find his music.
His song doesn't exist online.
Oh, it doesn't. God damn it. Ryan Routh was arrested in Palm Beach after sticking an assault rifle through the fence while Trump was golfing. Yep. This guy's a lunatic who it was really inspired by the Ukraine war, by the way. So that's interesting. And which it does inspire people, you know? I get it. You know, my friend Connor went over there to fight with them. I get it. It's a sad story. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm with it. I get it. I'm with it. Ryan Routh was arrested in Palm Beach because he was trying to kill Trump. Now, this guy's a madman. And he's got the barrel of his rifle coming out of the bushes, again, like a scene from Caddyshack. Like, it's a weird, strange thing. I think he's been interviewed on the news a few times. And by the way, can you get the quotes from his son to the Daily Mail? These were the craziest things I have ever heard. He's like, oh, my dad. He's like, listen, if he wants to be a martyr, you know, I'm not for it. But we all hate the way these elections go down every 4 years. It's the most insane thing that you hear from somebody whose father just tried to, like, kill the president. Orrin Routh, his son, he goes, I don't have any comment beyond a character profile of him as a loving and caring father and honest, hardworking man. He went on to say, I don't know what's happened in Florida. I hope things have just been blown out of proportion. Because from the little I've heard, it doesn't sound like the man I know to do anything crazy. He's a good father and a great man, and I hope you can portray him in an honest light. Then he said like this, he described his father as someone who was not violent, claiming he only had a couple of traffic tickets, but noted that he does hate Trump as every reasonable person does. Lovely son. Keep going down. He goes, I don't like Trump either. He's my dad, and all he's had is a couple of traffic tickets as far as I know. That's crazy. I know my dad, and I love my dad, and that's nothing like him. Orrin said that it was the first that he had heard about the incident and didn't even know his dad was in Florida, adding, we had a falling out, we've grown apart. So then he comes back, keep going down, because he comes back and he says, he comes back, and I read where he was basically like, he quotes South Park, and he says like, listen, if my dad wants to be a martyr, that's on him. Like, he has this crazy quote where then he's like, it's just like South Park. He goes, it's like every 4 years we vote for a douchebag or a turd samp. Like he starts doing a podcast after they tell him like his father almost tried to kill the president. He's like, listen, we all hate this process. I think it was this. Yeah, it might have been the Post. Let's see if we can find it down here. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. I was like, this is the craziest thing I have ever heard from the son of somebody who, yeah, here we go. After abruptly hanging up the phone, Orrin Ralph sent a long text to the Daily Mail in which he said, if his father wants to be a martyr, that's his choice, and complained that voters are exhausted and embarrassed by candidates running for the White House. Can you imagine? Keep going.
I'll pull up the Daily Mail article. That's where it is.
Yeah. Can you imagine being told your father just tried to assassinate the president of the United States and then going like, hey, we're not into this. All this stuff is pretty embarrassing out there, these elections. It's pretty nuts. Your father just tried to assassinate the president. Yeah. I'll tell you, he's not the only one. It's like the craziest thing in the world. Listen to this. This is what the guy says after his father tries to kill the president. I hate this game every 4 years, and I think we all do. And if my father wants to be a martyr to how broken and disassociated the process has become from the real problems and practical solutions, then that's his choice. By the way, can someone arrest this guy? Can someone arrest him? I'm not saying that's what he's done or what he's about. That's just my own rant, being fed up with it for all of my entire adult life, he wrote. South Park said it best. Can you imagine? His father is trying to assassinate the president. He's typing this to the Daily Mail. He's sending a text. South Park said it best. Every 4 years, we're forced to choose between a turd sandwich and a giant douche. And it all stays fucked in the same ways by different degrees, and we're exhausted and embarrassed by it all. This is after his father, it's like, tried to kill the president of the United States. This guy is like doing that's what you would say on like a podcast. That's what you would say. That's like a rant you would go on like a podcast. Mm-hmm. Not after you've been told your father just tried to kill the president of the United States. Do we have any of Ryan Ralph, any of his interviews? Yes. He was interviewed by some different news organizations and institutions had him on. And by the way, you look at this guy. This is how you know that people are so ideologically driven in this country that they can no longer recognize a crazy person. Like the news is so blinded by their hatred for Trump that they no longer recognize this person is a complete psychopath. And in his interviews, he reads crazy.
Thousands upon thousands of people standing here with the Ukrainians. This Maiden Square, Independence Square, we should have millions of people in this square, filling the square from every country around the world. And why we don't, I don't understand. I'm here every day with all the flags from all the supporting countries, with the memorials for the people that have died. And, you know, I've had several people come, but just a handful, you know. So it blows my mind. By the way,
is it the CIA now is just as bad as like everything else? like every hotel you go to sucks. Everything's bad. Everything you watch sucks. Like, is that what this is? Like, is Langley just so bad at everything now that it's just the fully bottom of the barrel where they're just grabbing anyone? They're like sending this guy over to the Ukraine. I mean, is this how bad it's getting? Is it because everywhere you go, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on the show, everything is disappointing and everybody's kind of upset you're there and customer service is dead and client services is over and people don't want you there. And when you walk in somewhere, people kind of like, you know, begrudgingly tolerate you. And I'm wondering if the CIA has gotten to that point now where like no one, you would think that they would have a better class of patsy, like a better class of patsy. Like say what you want about Oswald, but he was a better class of patsy than whatever this is. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a fun thing to think about. They're just sitting around in Virginia going, yeah, we don't know. We don't know. He's the one. He's what we got. He's what we got. You know? Is there any other interview of him?
Yeah, hold on.
I think he's done some more mainstream things as well. I mean, this guy is a nut, and I don't know what they're charging him with. He's going to share a cell with Diddy.
He filed off the serial number on his gun, and then
Yeah.
a couple other things. It's like it's the maximum charge for all those things.
Sure.
Here we go. Here's a couple of different quotes from him right here.
At $1,000. His son Oren posted, "He is a loving and caring father. It doesn't sound like the man I know to do anything crazy, much less violent." Ruth tried to enlist in the International Legion of Foreign Fighters in Ukraine, but was considered too old.
We need 100,000 people here fighting.
Instead, he became a recruiter. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams was in contact with Ruth for more than a year.
Can you
Ryan
imagine?
Ruth seemed very sincere, but at times, perhaps somewhat naive. At one
Naive?
point, he even sent me an audio track of a song that he'd apparently recorded about the carnage caused by the war in Ukraine.
So again, this is just my point. This guy's a complete lunatic. He's sending songs to the people that work at CBS News. Can you imagine this? And instead of going, hey, this guy's a lunatic, we should cease all communication with him. He's actually a massive problem. Instead of doing that, this woman continues the relationship. He's a bit naive. He's a sweet boy, but he's a bit naive.
He certainly did not give the impression of being a hardened fighter.
Just last week at the debate with Kamala Harris, President Trump was lukewarm in his support for Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, again, this has nothing to do. Why do they go right into that? Yeah. I love how they go right into that. They go right into that. How about the fact that CBS was corresponding for a year with the guy who tried to kill the president of the United States? Is that worth a mention? And they go right into the Trump was lukewarm for his support of the Ukraine. They gloss over that. Yeah, this journalist is. It should. People are blinded by such hatred. It's like if Fox News was like communicating with a militia member for a year who was like sending them songs about migrants and then tried to kill Kamala, whatever. Like, you can't be blinded by rage and hatred to a point where you cannot recognize what's in front of your face, which is a psychopath. What song did he? God, I want the song.
So there's flashes of like he's tweeted at like Bruno Mars and a couple other people.
Yeah, because he wants a collab. I'd love a Bruno Mars pro-Ukraine song. This is him?
This is before his Twitter got nuked.
He used to be George Galloway, which is an Irish politician. Okay, Bruno Mars, I live in Hawaii, was in Ukraine for 8 months and need help producing a tribute song for Ukraine. I have all lyrics and some music. Well, I'm sure Bruno Mars's people I'm sure that never got to them. How exciting. But that is something that your celebrity might do. Mm-hmm. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. That, like, Bruno Mars would go out there with this guy.
He did Bono. It was Bono and Bruno Mars.
Sure. Well, he's tweeting at the people he thinks are going to bite. There's, Bono's socially conscious. I don't know that Bruno Mars is. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. But I would have loved that. He's just tweeting at celebrities, musicians, going, we are the world. We are the Ukraine. Vice said we were white nationalists, but we forgot that. We want Crimea. It's a land bridge we all love. Putin's going to invade Poland if we don't have another $1 trillion. I'm sure it would have rhymed better and whatnot, but Diddy denied bail for sex trafficking, prostitution, and the freak-offs. They're not letting Diddy bail himself out because they know someone's going to kill him. See, here's what's interesting. You would think, they're not letting him out because they think people are going to kill him on the outside. They know that he might survive on the outside. They're going to kill him on the inside. They're like, no bail for you. We'll get to you on the inside. We want to make sure we get to you on the inside. let's talk for a minute about the migrant situation in Aurora, Colorado, because what has been, this is the Wall Street Journal again, by the way, doing great work. The Wall Street Journal does, I mean, it's so good what they do. And it's so amazing what they're doing. And Michelle Hackman, whoever that woman is, who's writing at the Wall Street Journal, thank God, because Michelle and the Journal has decided to basically correct the record on this Aurora, Colorado. Don't get a picture up. It doesn't matter what she looks like. Go back to the article. They're correcting the record here because what's going to happen is everybody who is familiar with the story has gotten it wrong. Because people think that migrants have taken over a building in Aurora, Colorado, because of a viral video that went viral. Do we have the viral video? Can we get the viral video?
Yeah, this is
Let's watch the video. So now, by the way, I want everyone to watch this. What you're watching is good. This is not a problem. The Wall Street Journal's telling you this. They did not take over a bill. They did not. The violent Venezuelan prison gang did not take over this building. It was a routine assassination in one of the units. They did not take over the building. This is 8 of the 10 men were arrested. No big deal. 8 of the 10 violent Venezuelan prison gang members with military-grade weaponry who were in the building. So again, this is the Wall Street Journal writing an article telling people to relax, going, hey, why don't you fucking relax, you racist? Because what you thought was a full takeover of a building was not. It was just 10 violent Venezuelan prison gang members carrying out a routine operation or something they felt needed to be done. Let's watch this video here. This is nice. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Why would anyone have a problem with this in their country? Thank you, Wall Street Journal. This is nice. It's a picnic. It's for a picnic. Some of the residents are moving out because they're afraid of the Venezuelan gang activity. Racists! Everywhere, these people. By the way, the building itself doesn't look great. So get up this article. This is so funny. Standing on his front stoop, Richard Valen struggled to describe the recent feeling of unease that had settled over him. It's creeping up here, the evidence of crime, undocumented people around. The 77-year-old told a Republican campaign volunteer who knocked on his door, gesturing out at his quiet street 20 minutes north of Denver. I know it sounds racist, but there's a lot of Spanish. I don't know if these people will ever blend in, says Velen, a Republican voter and former insurance salesman. Now, by the way, understand that he is the villain of this article, not the 8 Venezuelan gang members with their gun. Good. Okay. These days, the major incident troubling him and many others in his area is the August murder in an apartment building in nearby Aurora. A now viral video taken minutes before the shooting has aired on a local Fox affiliate showed several Venezuelan men in one of the building's hallways carrying long guns. People have tied the killing to the violent Venezuelan street gang trend Aragua, I'm not going to, Aragua maybe, I don't know how to do it. But the video taken by someone's doorbell camera inside the building quickly metastasized into exaggerated claims of a gang takeover of the building, the neighborhood, and the entire city. The Aurora incident and its fallout have heightened existing fears in Colorado and elsewhere that immigrants in the country illegally are making communities less safe. Well, you remember, no one is saying that there were not guys they killed a guy in an apartment building. I don't understand when Trump wins again, by the way. when he wins again, and people go, how did it happen? How did it happen? What about Taylor Swift? If he wins again, when he might win again, I don't know. But I want people to remember this article. I want people to remember that the Wall Street Journal spent their time writing an article saying that the fears of people who lived in this community were completely unfounded and that this situation was being misrepresented. There are guys in the corridor with guns and they're killing someone, but it's okay. They didn't take over the whole building. They didn't take over the whole neighborhood. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that. Former President Donald Trump has used the story of Aurora, distorted and amplified by right-wing news outlets to bolster his tough on immigration message in the race against a guy. Can you imagine thinking this plays with people, by the way? Can you imagine writing this article thinking it lands? Can you imagine writing this article thinking it lands? Who in God's name does this land with? Participants in a Wall Street Journal poll from late August said Trump would be best able to handle immigration rather than Harris. Harris hasn't spoken about Aurora, but she was asked, and she's never just asked about anything, but she was asked about another incident of misinformation around migrants in Springfield, Ohio. There, Haitian immigrants were baselessly accused by Trump and others of stealing and eating. So this article, the job of this article is basically to come out and go, listen, guys, we understand you're all racists and you don't like the Venezuelan people with the military-grade weaponry in the hallway of the building because you're racist. But what we would really like you to correct the record, we want to correct the record and say that those people were arrested, 8 of 10. They were arrested. The people that came into the country in the prison gang that were showing up at the apartment complex to murder someone they were arrested. They didn't do what everyone's saying they did. They didn't. By the way, nobody thought they took over a town. But it doesn't mean you're running the town. To take over a town, by the way, if I say rats have taken over the town, it doesn't mean rats are the mayor. It means there's a lot of rats in the town. So and I'm not saying that, but these are prison gang people. But the point is this. If I say, poke shops have taken over the town, it doesn't mean that the mayor is a poke bowl with rice. What it means is that, it's always a food example, but what it means is that there's a lot of poke shops in the town. Nobody thought that a Venezuelan prison gang was now running the town. It's a figure of speech, by the way. But the idea that this, article is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. They're like, what's the it was one murder. It was one murder. What's the big deal? Instead of the Wall Street Journal, the article should be, there are clearly problems with migration. Which candidate best to handle these? Instead of telling people what they're seeing isn't real. This never works. Telling people what they're seeing in front of their face isn't real never works. Concede the point that there's issues. Show the video again, please. There's videos. Concede there's an issue. Is there not an issue here? If you lived in this apartment complex, would you not feel like this was an issue? Well, it's overstated, actually. There are people with guns in the hallway. Well, it's actually been amplified. It's not that big of a deal. They never took over the whole town. There's 8 or 10 people here. A lot of them have guns in an apartment building. They shouldn't be in the country. Well, it's actually kind of exaggerated. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, well, people said that they actually took hostages, but they didn't. They just killed someone. Sperm counts are dropping worldwide. Today, the average man is only half as fertile as his grandfather was. Scientists think that's due to a variety of factors, including the obesity epidemic, diet, and pollution. 1 in 10 men have a low sperm count. 1 in 6 couples will experience infertility. 50% of those cases are attributable to sperm. Experts say we're facing a sperm crisis by 2045. Testosterone therapy, TRT, can actually lower or stop sperm production and can reduce a man's sperm count to 0 within 6 weeks. Sperm is a biomarker for your overall health. It can tell you about your risk for things like cancer, heart disease, and even premature death. Sperm quality peaks around 30, then declines 1% each year. Contrary to conventional wisdom, not every man can produce healthy children at any age. By age 45, men have 6 times the risk of infertility or producing a child with birth defects or neurological issues. Legacy sends a sample collection kit to a client's home. It is a very safe and easy way, to make sure that you are getting your sperm at when it is peak. Men produce a semen sample at home and send the kit back within 24 hours. The kit contains transport media that keeps the sperm sample fresh until it arrives at the lab. It's analyzed. Sperm health results, 5 industry standard metrics of sperm quality, the same provided by traditional fertility clinic, are securely sent to the client's phone within 48 hours of them mailing the sample. It's time to take your future into your own hands. Testing and freezing your youngest, healthiest sperm keeps all your future options open. Legacy offers sperm testing and freezing. You can do 100% from your home. To see if sperm testing and freezing is right for you, visit givelegacy.com and use promo code TIM for 10% off. That's GIVE legacy.com, promo code TIM. So many people are on the roads right now, getting the kids to school, going to different activities, and inevitably there's going to be accidents. We hate to say that, but it's true. Okay, not only on the roads, everywhere. Hot coffee, all kinds of stuff. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. With over $20 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation, no matter what happened. Car accident, slip and fall, hot coffee, you fall off a ladder or something. You have to immediately call Morgan & Morgan. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. That's amazing. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Tim or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Tim. So, for example, my friend's mother was in a mall and she was walking and there was a wet floor. And they didn't have the wet floor sign. And she fell and she cracked her hip and her husband left her. She sued. And Morgan & Morgan took the case because it was the right thing to do and they got her a whole bunch of money. Go to forthepeople.com/Tim or dial #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. Everyone around the comedy world knows not every joke delivers, but Harry's always delivers. They send the best quality razors right to your door for a fraction of the price of the big brands. The most annoying thing in the world is walking into a drugstore and trying to get a razor. They're all locked up. You have to find somebody to unlock the thing. It's so much money. They never last. It's a bad idea. Better designed shaving products at a better price is no joke. It's Harry's. I love Harry's. I love them. I love them. You know why? They come right to your door. They're delivered. It's a great shaving experience. I mean, it is one of the things that I look at and I say to myself, it is not only cost effective, but the quality is so good. I'd pay more for this. German engineered blades made in their own factory that stay sharp longer. Customizable delivery options for scheduled refills as low as $2, half of what you pay for other big brands. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover for just $3 at harrys.com/DILLON. Richly lathering, skin softening body wash and scents like redwood, wildlands, and stone. Extra strength, high quality, amazing smelling deodorant for just $5, plus hair and other grooming products that fit your unique look and needs. They've got the highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry. No risk trial, folks. Don't like your shave? No worries. It's on them. Convenient subscription options that you can cancel at any time. This is a great way to support the show, and it's a great way to shave. It's the best way to shave. Get the shaving products that always deliver. Get Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/DILLON. That's harrys.com/DILLON for a $3 trial set. Death of the minivan. I'll tell you what needs to happen. You know who needs to find the minivan? The Venezuelan prison gangs. By the way, what about our own criminals? What about our own hardworking United States criminals that now have to compete with a very vicious gang of people that we're bringing in? Our own criminals, our own people that have fallen through the cracks, that are making a living with stick-ups and drug sales and things like that, they have to compete with foreign workers coming into their apartment buildings with guns and killing the people they should be killing. And frankly, it's disgusting. The death of the minivan, it was a perfect vehicle. No, it was not. The minivan dilemma. It is the least cool vehicle ever designed, yet the most useful, offering the best value for the most. The minivan, by the way, destroyed everyone I know's life. The minivan immediately became like, this is why everyone in my generation did not have a clean house until they had to go to therapy for years. Their parents had this mobile garbage trash compactor called a minivan that we all were driven around in, where when we were children, we would fling Dunkaroos and Milano cookies and fucking Fun Dip, and we would throw them all over this car. And they had like those felt seats or whatever, you know, that cushion seat. And it was like a weird velvet, and it was always sticky with shit. It looked like that. Everyone in my generation was damaged irreparably by growing up with minivans, eating in them, fighting with your brothers and sisters and friends in them, having your parents. It was all part of going through a drive-through, eating the food, throwing the food. And look at them. This is the way they looked. And that's why when my generation of people went to college, their dorms were disgusting. When they first got girlfriends, their girlfriends went, "What the fuck? How were you raised?" And they were raised in a fucking minivan by boomers that turned it into a disgusting environment on wheels. The cars you grew up in are the reason you're an animal. They are. And if you didn't grow up in a minivan that's filthy, good for you. But if you did, you're an animal. The cars you grew up in, the cars that you sat in the back of, that was your example, okay, of what was tolerated and what was not tolerated. There were certain friends I had where the cars were immaculate. Most not, but some. But a lot of my close friends, because the classes, don't really commingle. Most of my lower middle class dirtbag friends and their dirtbag families had minivans, and no one took any pride in a minivan was bought to be destroyed. You hated it. You hated the fact that you were in it. It was a roving garage of shit. And you would see them. You would get in line at Wendy's, and it would be minivan. My mother had an Econoline Ford van. The minivan wasn't enough. She needed a big van that had a bed in the back, because she would always go and get antiques. She would pick up furniture that people had left outside of their houses in the hopes that she was going to refurbish it. But the minivan, I couldn't think of a type of vehicle that did more damage to people than the minivan. Here's what the minivan did. It made everybody a fatty boom batty. Number one, you don't need that much space. You don't. You don't need that much space. The minivan was so that you could go and shop and buy crap, put it in the car. You could go eat and put leftovers in the car. Your kids could play with toys in the car. And everything that should have been reserved for a location that didn't move and wasn't in traffic would be happening in the car. You could eat in the car. Everybody, here's your food. Everybody eat in the car. Everyone's covered in ketchup. Great. Here's some napkins. There's ketchup all over the thing. It's sticky. It's filthy. It was the worst car, and it made the worst people. It did. Anyone that grew up in a minivan knows exactly what I'm talking about. My grandparents never had a minivan. My grandfather had a Crown Vic. He had a Cadillac Eldorado. He had a Crown Vic. Nobody ate in the car. You did not eat in the car. You were not allowed. As soon as the minivans came around, not only were you allowed to eat in the car, it was actually required. That's why we got it. We got it so you could eat stuff your fat face in the car, because we're animals. And we got to eat on the way to practice for this thing. We got to eat on the way to karate and you can't fit in the belt that you're not going to fucking get upgraded to anyway. You would eat on the way to things. They would pick you up at school in the minivan. You would go, you would eat, and then they would take you to wherever. And then they would, drop you off and then pick you up. Eating, always. Dirty, filthy, toys in the minivan. Play with these toys. Play around. It was a disgusting. The minivan arrived way back when as a savior when Chrysler, under the former Ford chief Lee Iacocca's direction, first conceived of the design in the late 1970s. One was the land yacht style station wagon, perhaps an avocado green with faux wood paneling. Lots of kids could pile into the bench and jump seats, while the rear storage, accessible by hatch, allowed for easy loading. These cars were somewhat functional, but they didn't seem that safe. The suburban family's other choice was the full-size van, a big boxy transporter utility vehicle. Chrysler's minivan would steer clear of those two dead ends and carry American families onto the open roads towards, youth soccer and mall commerce. It really did bring innovation. Ample seating organized in rows with easy access, with the ability to stow those seats in favor of a large cargo bay with a set of sliding doors. So everybody loved these things. Sales reached 700,000 by the end of the decade as the station wagon all but disappeared and the minivan came in. People lived in their cars. They ate in their cars. The nation where cars stood in for power and freedom, the minivan would mean the opposite. As a vehicle, it symbolized the burdens of domestic life. This is true. It's why you could treat it like shit. That's why the minivan you could treat like shit, because it was a utility vehicle. It was a vehicle to go literally from point A to point B. You weren't going to stop at the grocery store and get food and go home and cook it. You were going to drive through a mobile poison factory and kill your children on the way to fucking dropping them off at dance class so your fat daughter could learn how to do a pirouette. No car represented the decline of this empire more than the minivan. None. And no car was beloved more by the boomer more than the minivan, because they needed space. Boomers needed space. There it is. The Chrysler Town and Country. Show that one. That was the high-end one. Go to the Chrysler Town and Country. Town and Country Chrysler. That's kind of nice. My aunt had that. This is the old one. That's the old Chrysler Town and Country. It's people would pick you up with that. They would pick you up at school, and they would sit you in that. And then they would fucking douse you in maple syrup and then bring you to a fucking soccer game. It is crazy. If you're driving one of those now, it's like, God. So what are they being replaced by? Fentanyl? SUVs, right. I mean, what's replacing the minivan? Suicide? Just people just checking out? Human trafficking is Diddy. The minivan is out. Diddy trafficking your children is replacing the minivan. Chrysler is struggling to keep up. Israel should make all of those blow up, by the way. You want to impress me? Blow up the minivans in wherever, Lebanon. You blow up the minivans in Lebanon. Impress me. It's so funny. I mean, yeah, it really... Biden wearing the MAGA hat at the rally, I love, because you know Biden wants Trump to win. Biden hates her, and he hates what they did to him. Other than Biden being completely out of his mind, I don't know, was he the worst candidate? Let's look at Biden.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old fucker.
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
Biden's kind of spry. Biden's kind of tough and he's a little spry. Kind of like him when he comes alive again. He's like, I know you would know about being old. You got to remember how much anger Biden has, because everything in his life has been horrible. So he can marshal that anger when he needs to. He's like, I know you'd know about being old. He's thinking about his wife being fucking killed in the accident and the kids and the son. And he's mad. And then he's thinking about this bitch and Obama and everybody who kicked him out of the fucking... I mean, he looks good here. But let's see this. Let's see him put on the Trump hat.
I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do a selfie.
He loves it.
There you go.
He loves it. Biden's fun. Biden's kind of fun. Biden's kind of fun. Biden's like fun now.
No eating dogs and cats.
No eating dogs and cats. He's doing. I'm telling you right now. I want him to do something else. I don't want to lose him now that he's just not going to be the president. He's fun. Now he's fun. He's better than anyone at the Emmys. Give him an Emmy. I want to talk about this Costco family before I get out of here because, you know, it's so interesting. This Costco family is taking the world by storm. No, we don't know anything. Oh, God, please. Let me prepare myself before this starts just happening.
It's not played. It's not played.
No, it's, by the way, everything that I thought like the country would turn into, it's somehow worse. And I'm like hyperbolic. Like you listen to my old shit. It's like everything's dialed up to an 11 and we're at like a 13 in this country right now. So I don't even know what these people are or who they are, but they are kind of interesting and you can't stop watching them. But it is something's like crazy and wrong. And they're this family. They're like Costco influencers and the dad, they got to meet like Gary Vee and the dad goes, I've been following Gary Vee for 10 years. The dad's clearly been trying to get famous forever. Okay. And he goes, I've been following Gary Vee for 10 years and he's like really responsible for this. And I'm like, don't even blame this on Gary Vee. Like there's no way that Gary Vee even co-signed this. Like if this guy went to Gary Vee and was like, so I'm just going to look at the camera and go, double chocolate cookie. I think Gary Vee would even go, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you should do something else. I think Gary Vee would even go, like, maybe that's not the way to do it. Double chocolate cookie. Like, there's no way that Gary Vee, for all his craziness, co-signed any of this. This is a complete accident here. Can you get one up where they dance?
Yeah, give me a sec.
Is YouTube or somebody going to, are we going to get in trouble for playing the song Bring the Boom? Yeah, I mean, they're Costco influencers. One of my friend's sons saw the Rizzler the other day in Long Island. Good. Is it because we want death? Like we long for death in this, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, why is this kind of entertaining? Is it like we just want this civilization to crumble as quickly as possible? I think that's what it is. It's like the ultimate just like, well, fuck it. Because I watch this, I'm not nearly as disturbed by it as I should be. I just kind of like, you end up kind of just, we bring the boom. And I go, is it just, by the way, it's the darkest thing I have ever seen. There is nothing darker than this. No, I'm serious. There is nothing darker than this. We bring the boom, and they have the cookies going like this. The fact that this is kind of entertaining signifies we are at the end. We are post any type of like, we are postpartum, we are postmortem. Like, we are done here. I watch this stuff. And I'm watching them, and I'm watching they do we bring the boom, and they're eating these cookies and these things. And I'm like, why? This doesn't shock me. It doesn't disturb me. It simply is a curiosity. But I think what it is, and I think the reason for its popularity is we long now, kind of openly, for some type of nuclear holocaust or a natural disaster, like a major natural disaster. Like, there's nothing else that I can glean from the popularity of this other than people are fully, subconsciously or consciously, wishing for like a black hole to swallow up the universe. Can you please play? please. You know the Rizzler's going to jail one day. Like they're going to be like, social media star known as the Rizzler was apprehended after a fight with his girlfriend in the Cheesecake Factory. I can't understand any of this. There we go. Here he is. The Rizzler is the whole thing, really. I mean, the other two are great, but the Rizzler is the thing.
Or a double chunk chocolate cookie.
I'm gonna have to give the chicken bake the boom and the double chunk chocolate a doom. You heard it from the Rizzler. I never had one of these before.
Now, can I just ask you a question? What happens next in society? You know what I mean? Like what exactly would be next here? What is Act 2 to this? Like, what does this, like, foretell? You know, like, this is it's just, look at the face. Can you zoom in on the chunk chocolate cookie guy's face? What? This guy is going to kill them all Chris Benoit style. There's no way he doesn't kill this whole family. He's going to bring the boom, all right. All right, get him out of here. I like them, though. I do like them. Why do I like them? That's the problem. I don't understand why they are, but I think they're good because we've released ourselves from any expectation that anything will ever make sense or that anything will be, even though we're pattern-seeking creatures and we can use reason and logic, it seems like we're done with that. And it seems like we're kind of just vibing. 3 Americans tried to overthrow a government in the Congo, and they were sentenced to death, and I support it. We talked about this on the show. I do support that. If you go to another country and try to overthrow their government, you will be sentenced to death. And I'm not saying you should die, but I do support the government of the Congo. Like, I'm not trying to explain this. It's one of those, what do you think's going to happen stories. I don't want them to die, but let's zoom out. What do you think is going to happen? And what do you mean you got caught up in the Congo in the wrong thing? Let's watch some of this here.
3 U.S. citizens were among 37 defendants sentenced to death by a military court on Friday for their role in a failed coup in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
That's in Aurora, Colorado. We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. Trendagua, whatever. All right, let's keep watching this, please.
Armed men briefly occupied an office of the presidency on May 19th before their leader, U.S.-based Congolese politician Christian Malanga, was killed by security forces. His son Marcel Malanga was among the Americans on trial, along with Marcel's friend Tyler Thompson, who played high school football with him in Utah. Both are in their 20s. The third American, Benjamin Zalman Paloon, was a business associate of Christian Malanga. All 3 were found guilty of criminal...
See, man, this is when crypto goes bad. You know that kid, that crypto kid? Go back to his face. A business associate? Yeah, he was like, right. No, I guarantee you this is a shit coin gone wrong. He's like, no, we're going to the Congo, we're going to have a coin, the Malanga coin. We get it, you get it. He was definitely talking about crypto with the guy that got shot in the attempted coup. There is no way he was not talking about crypto. Let's keep going here.
Malanga. All 3 were found guilty of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, and other charges, and sentenced to death in a ruling read on live TV. Malanga had previously told the court that his father had threatened to kill him unless he participated. He also told the court it was his first time visiting Congo at the invitation of his father, whom he had not seen in years. The Americans are among some 50 people, including U.S., British, Canadian, Belgian, and Congolese citizens standing trial.
The State Department will probably do something here. They might. They'll probably do something. They might get these kids out. The State Department will probably do something. I don't know. Maybe not.
Mitt Romney said something like it was a delicate situation. Like,
Yeah, they're doing something. You know what they should do, by the way? They should send over double chocolate cookie. Do you want a cookie? You want a chicken bake? Send to Congo a couple of chicken bakes so we can get these 3 kids back. I'm not trying to celebrate their death. I'm just saying you can't go to the Congo and try to overthrow a government. According to NPR, neither of Utah's 2 Republican senators, Mitt Romney and Mike Lee, have called on the Biden administration to request their release. I mean, listen, who knows what's going on? Maybe they're back channeling. Do the boom dance again. Firing squad, by the way, which is not nice, but that's what happens if they get it. Firing squad. Wouldn't their hearts be warmed? They go, what is going on over there? What's happening? They're just dancing with food? I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I just know that Diddy did nothing wrong. What if that was what I did? Like when the Netflix thing came out, like I just became a Diddy truther, and like my whole persona it became dedicated to freeing Diddy. Like my entire persona just became dedicated to freeing Sean Puff Daddy P. Diddy Combs. I don't know what to say. I feel bad. They say Justin Bieber's very upset. I'm not going to read the indictment.
It's funny in the indictment how it's like Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy. Like,
yeah, well, it's basically they're saying like, you know, there's a lot of technicalities, and they want to be like, no, all of that. Who's ever referencing you, they mean you. You know, I don't know what he was involved in. It sounds like he was doing some type of Epstein-esque behavior. And he was blackmailing people. And if that's the case, depending on how high level the people he was blackmailing are, they might get to him. Somebody might blow up his pager. They'll blow up his phone. I didn't even know that could happen. I didn't even know it could happen. Every day you wake up to something completely new. That's why you go to bring the boom. You go to boom or doom. Because you can't even, it's not even real, and life's not real anymore. So you're just like, what? They're like, Israel's blowing up people's pagers in the grocery store. And you go, we bring the boom. That's what we do. You have to. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go anymore? Reality is not even close to being real. So you got to bring the boom. And then you go, just crazy family. They're bringing the boom and the doom. They're eating cookies. You go, I don't know. I guess that's better than watching a guy's cell phone kill him on a moped. Double trunk. I do it pretty good. Israel blew up my double trunk chocolate cookie. The IDF, Unit 8200, they put a microscopic bomb in my double trunk chocolate cookie. timdilloncomedy.com for any of the live engagements if you want to buy a ticket. Do we have another pod before October 1st? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. October 1st, This Is Your Country, the trailer. Should we play it on the show? No.
No.
Go watch it. Go bring the boom. Good night.